Welcome to the New York Outlook for Monday, the 4th of November 2023. Starting off with the economic calendar, as you can see, there's no red folder news for the day, so there's no considerations in terms of trading the New York session. In terms of the charts for GBPUSD, as I said in London Outlook, there's reasons to both long and short. Given that the pullback phase was validated by this change of character OB that was body broken right here, and then subsequently we tapped this pro trend OB, and since then on the 5, 15, and 30 minute, we've essentially created a primary leg right here. Given that we're in this pullback phase, OB, and the fact that we're coming from this pro trend OB, there's reasons to believe price could go either long or short. In terms of understanding the order flow, looking at the 15-minute, what we can see is the Asia range occurred here. We then broke to the downside of the Asia range. However, in terms of validating the secondary leg from the pullback phase primary leg, you can see we had the 15-minute change of character, but we, we didn't really have evidence to support that supply is in control. Price came down and up into the supply, which is not entirely clean, but you'll see there's a tiny little imbalance or window of imbalance situated here, which then justifies us to use the range. We then reacted from it, but then we didn't body break to then validate that supply is actually in control. Subsequent to this, you can see we body broke above this POI. Um, but okay, maybe let's go based on one idea at a time. So for the purposes of shorting, there's no evidence that supply is in control, and for supply to take control, um, there's no clear OB to rely on to then say, okay, even if we break this level, we've got a new, or we've got supply in control. So that's something to monitor how this develops. The other thing to take note of is once New York creates its own low of the day, then it's more than likely that the real daily direction is actually to short, and we can reevaluate based on that. The other thing to then monitor is your fib level, currently measured from this extreme to the Asia high of the day. You can see at no point did we actually tap any of the fib levels. In terms of London trading, I like for price to come at least to the 38.2 fib level, which it hasn't. And if we go down, then there's the potential to extend this fib level and then maybe get a short in during New York based on the 50% level. Um, but that's all dependent on whether we actually have a supply level to rely on to then say that supply is holding and in control. In terms of the idea to long, yes, we've had this change of character right here, and demand may very well hold from here and continue up. The issue is within this pro-trend primary leg, we don't have a 4H OB to rely on to then suggest that we can, that we have an area where we can then validate demand is in control. Instead, we need precise 15-minute unmitigated primary leg OBs to then help facilitate that. As you can see, we're not reacting off anything that is clear, and thus, what this essentially means is demand taking control doesn't have any substance to it, at least not until we take out this high to then extend the primary leg. Because remember, what this would be is a secondary leg validation from a primary leg OB, but I'm not happy using the wicks. As you can see from a 4H perspective, the chalk OB to then validate a secondary or to validate a primary leg OB on the 4 hour would be a candle or wick break of this level. Because we don't have that, we can't then create this 4H OB to then give us the area we need to support demand taking control. So for that reason, we focusing on finding 15-minute and 5-minute precise OBs to help build that secondary leg. If I look quickly on the 5-minute, you'll see it's all the high wicks of these, all the high wicks are higher than the previous wicks of each of these candles. So there's no real pullback to suggest that we actually have a 4H OB. Instead, we just have this wick sweeping the previous candles as a liquidity grab, but no real OB to justify um, that demand may take control from here. Um, yeah, so essentially, to summarize for the New York session, what I'm looking for, I am looking for both longs and shorts, but being cognizant of whether New York creates a new low of the day or high of the day, this will then validate to me who is actually in control. For the purposes of taking long trades, I probably want price to come into this primary leg OB to then support a new order flow shift on a 15 and 5 to then long. However, for that to happen, it's more than likely that New York will create a low of the day, which then would suggest that the real daily direction is to short and thus invalidating any longs. In order to short, I would need to see that supply is holding and not the supply level because it's theoretically already failed because of the body breaks. Then I'd need alignment with the Fibonacci's as they extend. However, honestly, it doesn't look like it's going to materialize, but that's how I'd go about trading shorts, and I'll probably target something to around here, bearing in mind that the high of the day is quite high up, so we'll have to take into account the ADR. That's essentially my outlook for New York, and we'll chat again for the end of day review.